In August 1966, something strange happened on a quiet hill in Brazil. Two men climbed a hillside overlooking the city of Niterói. They wore formal suits. They carried a bottle of water. They brought wet towels and strange homemade masks, cut from sheets of lead. At exactly 6:30 in the evening, according to a cryptic note found beside them, they were supposed to swallow capsules and wait for a signal. No one knows what the capsules were. No one knows what signal they were waiting for, and when their bodies were discovered days later. The men were still wearing the masks, side by side, perfectly still. No wounds, no signs of struggle, just two bodies, and a mystery that has puzzled investigators for nearly 60 years. This is the story of the infamous lead masks case, one of the strangest unsolved deaths ever recorded. The hill was called Morro de Vintém. It rose quietly above the coastal city of Niterói, across the bay from Rio de Janeiro. In the 1960s, it was an ordinary place. Children flew kites there, teenagers walked the trails, couples watched the sunset over the water. There was nothing mysterious about it. At least, not until August 1966. On the afternoon of August 20, 1966, an 18-year-old named Paulo Cesar climbed the hill to fly his kite. The wind was good that day. As the kite drifted higher, Paulo looked down toward the grass nearby. At first he thought he saw two men resting. They were lying side by side on the hillside, perfectly still. He walked closer. The men were wearing suits, raincoats, and something strange over their eyes. Metal masks. Paulo felt uneasy. He stepped closer again. The men were not sleeping. They were dead. Terrified, the teenager ran home and told his mother. Within hours, police were climbing the hill. What they found would become one of Brazil's strangest mysteries. The two men were lying on their backs in the grass. They looked almost peaceful. No injuries, no blood, no sign that anyone had fought. But their clothing was unusual. Each man wore a formal suit. Over the suits were waterproof raincoats, and covering their eyes were crude masks. The masks were made of lead, heavy sheets of metal, roughly cut and bent to cover the eyes. They had no eye holes. The men could not have seen through them. Beside the bodies, investigators found several items: a bottle of water, two damp towels, and a small notebook. Inside that notebook was a short message written in Portuguese, a message that would haunt investigators for decades. The note read, 1630 be at the specified location, 1830 ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals, await signal mask. The instructions were strangely precise. Be at a location, take capsules at a specific time, protect metals, wait for a signal, and wear the mask. But there was one problem. No capsules were ever found. Police soon identified the two men. They were Manuel Pereira da Cruz, 32 years old, and Miguel José Viana, 34 years old. Both were electronics technicians from Campos dos Goitacazes, about 260 kilometers away. They were known as quiet, intelligent men. Both were married. Both worked repairing radios and televisions. Their families said the men had left home 3 days earlier. They told their wives they were traveling to Sao Paulo to buy a used car and electronic equipment. They carried a large amount of cash. Then they disappeared, until their bodies appeared on the hill. When police searched the homes of the two technicians, they found something disturbing. More lead masks, pieces of cut lead pipe, scraps of metal, tools used to shape the masks. According to Manuel's wife, The men had spent hours the day before their trip working with the metal. When she asked what they were making, Manuel simply replied, "Equipment for work." But what kind of work required masks made of lead? Lead is commonly used for one purpose: radiation shielding. The autopsy only deepened the mystery. There were no signs of violence. No wounds, no internal injuries, and no obvious poison. But there was a problem. The bodies had been exposed to the elements for days. Decomposition had advanced too far. Toxicology testing was incomplete. The official cause of death was listed as undetermined. Almost immediately, speculation exploded across Brazil. The case quickly became national news. People wanted answers, and when none came, theories filled the silence. Some believed the men were attempting to contact UFOs. During the 1960s, Brazil experienced many reported sightings of strange lights in the sky. Some witnesses even claimed to see glowing objects over Guanabara Bay. According to this theory, the technicians were conducting an experiment. The capsules might have been drugs intended to heighten perception. The masks might have protected their eyes from radiation or intense light. And the signal they were waiting for might have come from the sky. Others believed the explanation was spiritual. Brazil had a strong tradition of spiritualist practices. Some investigators suggested the men were part of a group experimenting with psychic communication. The capsules could have been substances meant to induce a trance. The masks might have symbolized protection from spiritual energy. The hill could have been chosen as an isolated place for the ritual. But again, no capsules were ever found. A third theory was more scientific. Both men were electronics technicians. Their notebooks contained technical formulas and valve diagrams. Perhaps they were testing some kind of device. Maybe they expected a powerful flash of light. Maybe the lead masks were meant to protect their eyes. But if that was true, where was the device? Police found no machine, no wires, no transmitter, nothing. The investigation slowly stalled. There were no suspects, no evidence of murder, no clear explanation for the capsules, and no way to determine exactly how the men died. By 1969, the case was officially closed, but the mystery never disappeared. Years later, new witnesses appeared. In 1996, a man claimed he saw the two technicians on the hill with a third person shortly before they died. In 2004, a woman said she saw them speaking with several men in suits. But these stories surfaced decades later, and none could be confirmed. Today, the lead masks case remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries in Brazil. Investigators still debate the meaning of the note, the purpose of the masks, and the missing capsules. Were the men conducting an experiment, participating in a ritual, meeting someone on the hill, or waiting for a signal that never came? The questions remain. Why did they bring wet towels? Why climb the hill in formal suits? What were the capsules? Why wear masks that blocked their sight completely? And most importantly, what happened between 6:30 p.m. and the moment they died? The hill still stands above Niterói. Grass still grows there. Children still fly kites in the wind. But somewhere on that hillside, two men once lay waiting for a signal. Two lead masks, one cryptic note, and a mystery that refuses to fade. If this mystery fascinated you, I'd love to hear what you think really happened. Was it a UFO encounter? A secret experiment, an occult ritual, or something far simpler and far darker? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. And if you enjoy exploring strange true mysteries like this, make sure you subscribe to True Events Archive so you never miss the next story. Until the next mystery pulls us in, stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next case.